It's Friday, September 19th, and it is time for Q&A. Some really great questions today. First, my response to Shelby, who said menopause sucks. I hear you, Shelby, and we're going to talk about to make it not suck, because it doesn't have to. Do I take creatine? I get this question a lot, and I was never consistent with it. Lately, I have been, and yes, I've noticed some things. And do I have kids? And I'm assuming that by this, Donna, you mean, have I been pregnant? And yes, but we'll get into all of that. So if you're seeing me for the first time, I am so glad you're here. I'm Elizabeth from Happy, Healthy, and Hot. I'm a 59-year-old double certified health and weight loss coach, author, content creator, and now three-time finalist in the Maximum Cover Girl competition in my late 50s, competing with women mostly in their 20s and 30s, because I am here to show you what's possible. It's time to tell a new story about aging. You can love your body and your life at any age. I'm 5 years postmenopause. I feel like I am just getting started. I have never felt better, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of the things. And that's what I want for you. My message here at Happy, Healthy, and Hot is about so much more than looking cute in a bikini. Although I'm not going to lie, I love that. But it is about getting out of bed in the morning, feeling strong, energized, and just passionate about the life that you're creating. Because that's the thing, we are creating our lives, we're creating them. Remember that. You get to decide how your day is going to go. And I know we have all these things outside, but Elizabeth, you don't get it. I have this, that, and the other thing. Oh, been there, done that, still deal with that. And we can choose to, turning the sounds off on my phone, which I forgot to do. We can choose to react or respond. There's power in that pause. And wow, I wasn't planning to talk about this, but there's something to take with you into the day. So let's start with this question from Donna. Do I have kids? I believe this question is usually, have you been pregnant? Yes, indeed. I have two beautiful adult children. I've been pregnant twice. They were both born via C-section. I gained 53 pounds with my first pregnancy and close to that with my second. And these are my 59-year-old, 5 years postmenopause abs on a random Friday morning. Yes, I do have a C-section scar, but it's not super visible, but I'm aware of it. Um, so yes, I've had kids and I lost the weight and my abs are better now than they were before kids. My body in general is better now. Um, strong, like I'm glad I'm so glad. I mean, our bodies are miracles. I'm so glad that I did that. And I was like, you'll never get your body back. Oh, enjoy being, when I was pre-kids. Oh, enjoy this. It's all going to change after you have kids. It doesn't have to. Yes, my body changed. And yes, for a while I was, as my son used to say when he was a toddler, squishy, squashy. He would grab my belly and he'd be like, squishy, squashy, squishy, squashy, because I was. And I'm really not squishy, squashy anymore. And it's not that I've worked out that hard. I have been consistent. It's the small actions done consistently that compound over time to yield amazing results. I also want to add, not only was I pregnant, not only did I gain a hell of a lot of weight, um, I'm a very small person. I am 5'1". I'm very small boned, so 53 pounds on me is a lot of weight. Some people are like, oh yeah, it was just in my belly. Oh no, it was in my face. My face looked like the moon. It was in my ass, and not in a good way. It was everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And I lost the weight, and my body is better now. So, stronger, more resilient. I'm so in awe of what our bodies can do. So when I had a diastasis recti, So that is like when basically from being so big and they were big babies for somebody of my size, around 8 pounds. Um, so a diastasis recti is when there's a split here with these abdominal muscles. So, um, and I was told that the only way to correct that by a surgeon Well, I guess he was selling surgery, but it was, it wasn't really, I mean, it's partly I guess it's somewhat cosmetic, but um, I was told the only way I could correct that was with surgery, but that they would use mesh to repair that tear. And because I am, at that point I had lost the weight for sure, but I just had this protrusion. It came out much later, like years after my kids were born, that the mesh would like show through. And I was like, I like to wear a bikini. I'm not okay with that. But at this point, my belly was like a little Buddha or something. So I got that back with gentle core work. Like you don't want to do crunches or anything like it was the planks, the balance trainer, all that stuff. I got my core back. So if I can do it, you can do it. Um, do I take creatine? Yes, and until recently, not consistently. So, first of all, what I want to say before we dive into the creatine thing, which I get a lot of questions about because there is a lot of research behind it. I will first and foremost, I will always tell you it starts with real food. If you are not putting real food into your body, supplements aren't going to do shit. So I am like, it starts there, and you don't need to spend a lot on supplements. Some supplements can be pricey. Creatine, if you're doing the powdered form, really reasonable. But it all starts with real food. Prioritize protein and produce. When I say real food, foods without ingredients list. Build your meals around, I say this every single day. Build your meals around high quality, protein dense foods. We are talking beef, fish, poultry, eggs, some of the higher protein dairy like cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. If you tolerate them well, fill in with colorful fruits and veggies. That's where it starts. Nutrient dense food that nourishes your body. I'm not saying don't eat carbs. Fruits and vegetables are carbs. Some are carbier than others, like bananas and sweet potatoes. So it's gonna, come to a balance of what do you need to meet your protein and your calorie requirements for the day. Um, so it all starts with real food. So what's the deal with creatine? Creatine is a natural substance. It is found in red meat, salmon, things that we need to be eating. And most people aren't getting enough of it from our diet. I heard to get the optimal amount of creatine, which is about 5 grams a day, you need to be eating something like 2.5 pounds of red meat. Let me tell you, I love some red meat, but I'm not eating 2.5 pounds a day. Probably could, but I'm not. So creatine, I think so many of us just think about it like with bodybuilders, who used to, and then some recommendations early on for how much creatine you take could make you gain some water weight and things like that. But that does not need to be the case at all. So creatine is the most like research backed performance supplement out there. And again, it's found in real food. Um, but here's what got me interested in creatine. Yes, I'm interested in the muscle building benefits and the strength benefits, all of that, because at the end of the day, muscle's great. Yes, it makes us look toned, which is aesthetic, but it's also so important to our overall health and longevity. As Dr. Gabrielle Lyon always says, muscle is um, the organ of longevity. Like our muscle is really an organ, super important to our health. And this doesn't mean you need to spend hours in a gym. I don't go to a gym and I have muscle. I take hilly walks. That's built my booty and my quads. I do some resistance training at home. You don't need, you absolutely can go to a gym. I'm not telling you not to, but you don't need to spend hours in a gym or any time in a gym to build muscle. But you need resistance training and you need to give your body the protein that it needs, and the creatine is going to be very helpful. But in addition to the muscle benefits, there's more recent studies showing cognitive benefits, brain benefits of taking creatine. Some of them specific to like women my age. I know there was a very recent study, I don't know any of the details, age, any of that, but that showed that for people who were severely sleep deprived, a relatively high dose of creatine, higher than we would normally take, was able to like mitigate the effects, the brain effects of the sleep deprivation. Like that's huge. So a lot of brain benefits to taking creatine. So for years, off and on, I've been like, yeah, I'm going to take creatine. I do it for a couple weeks and I'd fall off the wagon, so to speak. Most creatine is usually buy it as a powder. It's really inexpensive. It really doesn't have a taste. You can blend it into water, smoothies, your coffee, whatever you want. But you know what? I just never did it. continue consistently. Um, as I was started approaching my birthday, my 59th birthday in August, back in June, I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to taking creatine. So I started doing it with the powder. I also have a protein shake. I don't do shakes much, but a good like whey protein that has some creatine added. But the fact is, even that stuff, I wasn't using it consistently until, drum roll, please. Um, I got creatine gummies. So I'm not big on gummies in general because I feel like it's just eating candy. But the fact of the matter is, they're called Goddess Bites. So this is a brand. Um, they also make a really great organ meat supplement that markets to women. So these are called Goddess Bites. I love the name. I love being like, yeah, I'm gonna have my Goddess Bite. Um, I don't think there's any reason men couldn't. I'll look at the ingredients, but like it's creatine. So here's why I love these. What love these? Yes, this absolutely costs more than buying the powdered creatine. I'm not telling you to get a creatine gummy, but I am telling you that since I got these, I'm taking my creatine gummies. In the interest of full transparency, I became an affiliate for this company because I really like their products. So again, full transparency, if you buy these through my link, I'll make a couple bucks. But for those of you who've been with me since 2015, some of you, you know that I only talk about stuff that I use and love. These are literally in my kitchen. So each gummy is 1 gram of creatine. The optimal dose these days, they're so good and super clean. Excuse me as I chew my ass bite. So the optimal dose of creatine is 5 grams. Some of the bad rap creatine used to get from like, excuse me, kind of bulking you up and maybe adding some water weight was bodybuilders used to kind of overload creatine, like do 20 grams a day. Um, yeah, that can lead because it's, I think, helping push water into your muscles. It can absolutely cause some water weight gain at the temporary if you're doing it those high doses. But again, 5 grams a day is the optimal dose. As a very small woman, I I think I could even go a little lower, 3 to 5 grams, but I'm usually doing 5. Anyway, so now that I'm taking creatine regularly, here are some things that I've noticed. It's so interesting because I hadn't heard about that sleep study, but I was commenting to my sister how I just feel so sharp and clear even when I'm not getting a lot of sleep. And how with my trip to Italy, like I had zero jet lag, zero problems catching up. Um, and then I heard that sleep study about sleep deprivation study. I was like, well, isn't that interesting? Um, and again, I know that the way I eat is responsible for a lot of things. And also over the summer, I got a little lazy with my core workouts. I'm back on it. I did a plank every day, but sometimes it was 30-second plank. That was it for my core. But I've been taking the creatine. I'm now back on my 5 minutes a day on my core. That's all I ever spend. And again, that's my core. That's muscle. So this sure isn't hurting. I just keep these on my counter. I don't like stuff out on my counter, but I like having creatine on my counter. It's like, oh, come to Elizabeth's house. There's not a candy jar. There's a creatine jar. There's a beauty, it's like my goddess bites. Have a goddess bite. Would you like a goddess bite? That's bites. So I have fun with those. I will drop the link in the caption if anybody's interested in trying them. Um, and I think when you go through my link, you're automatically going to save like 25% or something. Okay, last question. So Shelby reached out to me. Hey there, Shelby. Ask if my cookbooks are a physical or a digital book. And I explained they are digital, so you're going to receive an immediate digital download. I'll link them as well. And told her about it's not just recipes. I share my best weight loss strategies. And Shelby replied to me, menopause sucks. And I was like, I know it does. And I'm not saying I would never tell you it. Well, I will tell you, I've seen a different side of menopause. I've said and postmenopause, I've seen a beautiful side of it. But in the moment, it absolutely can suck. So, Shelby, I have some ideas to make menopause less sucky and ultimately the best thing you've ever been through because it's beautiful on the other side. So, first thing I'm going to say, and this isn't to Shelby, this is to everybody. I mean, Shelby, you can listen to this too, obviously, but this came up in a podcast that I was on the other day. Ask your, I think we always need to ask ourselves, like, is it menopause? Or am I using menopause as an excuse for my poor behavior? That was powerful. Wow, is it? I'm writing that one down. I might need to reels. So, let me tell you some poor behavior that I see women of menopausal age doing. The wine culture. Listen, I'm not saying you can't ever have a drink. We just talked about that the other day. But there's this mommy wine culture that turns into like a menopause wine culture that it's just like, oh, I've had a long day. I need a glass of wine to unwind. And then one glass turns into two, and not only getting the liquid calories, you're feeling more tired the next day. You're maybe not making the best choices. Every 8 ounce glass of wine has at least 200 calories. That adds up quick. That adds up quick. Also, we just tend to be, we're at a stage in life where maybe we're not running the kids around as much or whatever. Things change, our routine changes, and sometimes we fall into some less healthy habits. Again, I'm not calling you out, Shelby. I'm calling all of us out. Myself included, because I had to look at like some things like, is this menopause? Or could I be making better choices? Also, then there's just this story. This is what I'm most passionate about. That as we get older, we dry up, we shrink back, we cover up. No one wants us. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I believe women of all ages deserve to be seen, heard, and admired. And I will tell you, Shelby, and anyone else who's listening, that at 59, a good solid 5 years post-menopause, I have never felt more vibrant, sexy, or alive. I've never been more excited about the life that I'm creating. But that's because I decided that it was going to be good. I decided that it was going to be good when it wasn't looking so good. Um, so the things that I share here, prioritize protein and produce, get your steps in. Planks are better than Spanx. They're universal. They work for men and women of all ages. Whereas men aren't wearing Spanx, but planks are going to give them a strong core, nice abs, better shoulders, all of the things. So these things are universal. But for women of perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause age, they're that much more important. Let's start with prioritize protein and produce. When we're younger, our bodies can easily build muscle. Again, I'm not talking about getting bulky, but just looking lean, looking toned. Our bodies can build muscle more easily just based on hormones. As we get older, we need the amino acids that our bodies get from real food for that muscle protein synthesis. So we'd be aiming for at least 30 grams of protein per meal, ideally 1 gram of protein from real food per pound of ideal body weight. So eating that way is going to make menopause suck so much less. Just getting more protein, please, from real food. Build a bigger burger, have a bigger piece of fish, chicken breast, throw some egg whites into your eggs or have extra eggs or whatever. I'm not a big egg white person, but what we want to be doing, the magic formula, get the protein up from real food, get the calories down. But getting the protein up makes it so much easier to get the calories down because you're satisfied, you're satiated, the cravings go away. You have better mental clarity. You don't have the food noise, you don't have the food chatter. It's easier to resist sweets, alcohol, chips, all of the things. It's just better. It just makes everything so much easier. And then get your steps in. Walking is underrated. It's about so much more than the calorie burn, but that's a real thing. Walking is underrated for fat burning. So here's the thing with walking. It's not going to raise your cortisol, which can ultimately lead to storing some belly fat because it's not stressful to our bodies. In fact, it helps us relieve stress. Getting natural light in our eyes, take the sunglasses off whenever you can, is helping to balance our circadian rhythms, which improves our sleep and helps to balance our hormones. Nature sounds, yes, we hear cars, yes, we hear other things, but take the earbuds out. Hear some nature sounds that is regulated to our nervous system. Bird song is a primal signal of safety to our brain. Add some hills, you're going to build better quads and a better booty. And for real, it makes a difference. So walking is underrated, and then planks are better than spanks. Planks are the Menno belly. I don't know what it is because I never had it. I solved this stuff before menopause. But planks are better than spanks. Prioritize protein and produce. Get those steps in. And then there's some other things you can do, like, don't eat the foods that make you bloat, even if they're healthy foods. Grapes make me bloated and gassy. I don't ever rarely eat grapes. I'm not ever available to be bloated and gassy. So yeah, there's a few other tips as well. But anyway, menopause sucks right now, Shelby. We're going to make it so much less sucky. We're going to make it ultimately the time of your life, the best time of your life. So thank you all for being here. I will drop links for the creatine and my cookbooks below this video. Have the most amazing day.